What is going on, guys? Newton here with Will Play, bringing you a quick look into my Untouchable Monk build for patch 2.3 or Season 4. Now, Monk is the class I have been maining this season. I've having quite a bit of fun with it, and I went ahead and I played around with a little bit of a build for the class. Now, I haven't strayed away from the meta too much, but I kind of went with a kind of a ridiculously tanky build for the Monk, making you super self-reliant, not having to worry about healers, and allows you to easily solo T10 and push speedrun those greater Rift 40s, as well as run with a group for greater Rift 50s and the higher 50s, and really not have to worry about running with a healer or finding a healer or support class in the party, because you kind of act as a partial support and a really strong tank. Now, I'll go over the class and how I kind of built it. Now, like I said, I'm not straying too far away from the meta. I am changing a few things about the class just to kind of make it super tanky, and I'll demonstrate how it works later on, but I'll go over the skills I have and the items that I'm using. Now, first for skills, we are not straying too far away from the normal skills we would be using, except for our primary. Our primary is Crippling Wave. Now, a lot of people do use Wave the 100 Fizz for the damage boost, but we are kind of making ourselves, like I said, untouchable, which is kind of the theme of the Untouchable Monk build. Crippling Wave, along with the Tsunami Room, creates a stun for all enemies around you, and a good size AoE stun at that. If the enemies are stunned, they can't touch you, and this also helps get our damage reduction, which will come in with the items we're using afterwards. So using our primary, this creates a stun, and it's a pretty good stun. It works very well, and like I said, you don't want the enemies to really touch you, and you kind of want to be a face tanky and untouchable class, and this helps quite a bit. Now, Crippling Wave is not a very fast skill. As you can see here, I'll kind of show you guys. Getting it off is kind of slow. That's why Wave of the 100 Fists is a lot more viable primary skill. This is a little bit slower, but that's why we're going to go ahead with the passive of Seize the Intentive. Now, dealing damage to enemies above 75% health increases the attack speed by 30% for 4 seconds. Now, this is basically kind of makes up for the slow attack speed of Crippling Wave. This will help you out by applying that Exploding Palm on the third hit much faster, as well as keeping that stun constantly up if you need it to be. Now, hitting enemies below 75% health really doesn't really come too often, because if you're a monk and you're rolling the 6-sided strike build, you're pretty much one-shotting generally everything on T10 or 40s, and not so much 50s, but I mean, you're getting pretty darn close. So this helps with the speed of Crippling Wave. It helps you get that Exploding Palm off on the third hit, as well as apply the stun very quickly and reapply it when you need it. So, what are we going for our items? For our items, we are going with our 6-sided strike build, except we're going with 5 out of the 6, but we are rolling with a Ring of Royal Grandeur in our passive, and I'll show you guys what we're rolling in the cube afterwards. But basically, we're rolling 5 of the 6-sided strike build, and this is going to give us the full benefits of the 6 set. So nothing too different there. For our weapons, we're running with the standard weapons you should be rolling for this build. You can see we got our 2 right here with our crit gems. And next we're rolling with our Blackthorn set. Now, Blackthorn set is not very difficult to get. If you're rolling those gems or those blood shards with Kadala, she is more than happy to give you Blackthorns all the time. She loves handing out Blackthorns. It's a very easy build to acquire. So for Blackthorns, what we're rolling with our boots. So we substitute our boots from our 6-sided strike build. For Blackthorns, we are rolling with a Blackthorns belt, as well as a Blackthorns amulet. Now, rolling with 3 of these along with the Ring of Royal Grandeur will give us our full 4 set benefits, and Blackthorns it's pretty helpful. It does add to the build quite a bit, creating you, like I said, a very nice face tanking class. Now, not only does it make you face tanky, but it does help out with those greater rifts, increasing damage against elites, reducing damage taken from elites, and making you immune to most of the ground effects, which is great. You're running those greater rifts, those placing down those poison, they're using Desecrator, using Molten. You can stand amongst the middle of all of that and never have to worry about it, because once again, we're getting damage reduction from this build, as well as health regeneration, which I'm going to show you guys, but generally, you're not going to have to worry about it, because these things aren't damaging you, making you untouchable, which is our Untouchable Monk build. Now, for the great damage reduction we're going to be getting for this class, that makes you really great, we're going to be rolling with our Spirit Guards. This is what you'd be rolling on your wrist. Now, it does stray away a little bit from the meta build, and you could be rolling with our the Gundo gear over here, which is a very, very good risk. You should be running it if you're going to run in the meta, but like I said, we're making this class as tanky as we possibly can. So we're going to go ahead and roll with Spirit Guards. When you use your Spirit Generators, you're getting a 36% damage reduction for 3 seconds, which is fantastic. You're getting the speed of that Crippling Wave with the attack speed passive. You're constantly keeping this up, as well as keeping the enemy stunned, making you, once again, taking not a lot of damage at all. As for the Q, this is where it's going to really help us out. We're running with the Flow of Eternity, quite standard for the 7-sided strike. Pretty essential, we need that. And for our gear over here, we're running with the Binding of the Lost. Every strike from your 7-sided strike will give you 3.5% damage reduction for 7 seconds, which is fantastic. You're rolling against those elite mobs, you're rolling against bosses, you get all those 7-sided strike hits off, you're pretty much proccing I believe it's pretty darn close to 50% damage reduction, as well as our 36% damage reduction. You're taking virtually no damage. Now, if you can't keep these up all the time, now there's quite a little window where you can't keep these up constantly, and you might take one hit, you may take a few hits, and you're going to take a lot of damage. Here's what we have to kind of make up for that. We're kind of rolling some health regen on our gear, and we're going to go ahead and kind of show you how much life regen I have. I have about 50,000, which isn't too bad, so we're healing for about 10% of our maximum health every second. So if you do take that damage, you can kind of run out, heal up. If your potion's on cooldown, you should heal up by yourself pretty darn quickly. And along with that, I paired it with a Molten Wildebeest legendary gem. Now this regenerates 43,000, my bad, sorry about that. For what I have right now, it's healing me for 43,000 life per second, and once you get it to past level 25, it gives you a shield for quite a bit of based off percentage of your health. So after not taking damage for 4 seconds, you gain an absorb shield for 200% of your total health or life per second. So we have that large amount of life per second, which is it's not too big, but it's 50,000. It's gonna go ahead and give us a 115,000 life shield, which is really, really great. This is basically what's going to be hitting you, what is going to be taken away for that little window that you're not, you don't have your max damage reduction up, and this is going to save you quite a bit. So for our other legendary gems, we're rolling with a Bane of the Trap, pretty good. We're creating that CC effect, constantly keeping enemies slowed, and then when they're not slowed, where they're being stunned by your Crippling Wave, and then we're pairing it along with a Bane of the Powerful, giving that damage enhancement against elite mobs, paired with the Black Thorns. You're dealing quite a bit more damage to elite mobs when paired with this. Really, really great for bursting those down in greater rifts and creating, you know, kind of rushing your way through. So overall, those are the skills. These are the skills that we're running with, not changing it up too much, but these are the items we're rolling with. And overall, you're going to have a huge toughness boost, as you see here, minus 25,000. But once everything is procced and kind of in use, you take up just about no damage. And when used with Infamy, which is on cooldown, you use that 50% damage reduction, you are taking 0 damage. You're not taking any damage while this is up. If you got your Crippling Wave or your Spirit Generator buff and your 7-sided strike, you're not taking any damage while these are up, which is fantastic, creating you, like I said, a face tanking god. So this is not going to be putting you on the leaderboards. If you want to push those greater rifts, you do kind of fall back and fall behind on some damage. Now, like I said, this is a fun little build to kind of run those T10s, to speed run them, run those 40s, run those 50s with groups and other things like that, and really kind of make yourself kind of a support / super self-reliant class. Now, I'm going to go ahead and open up a Greater Rift 45. I'm going to go ahead and cut the video and show you guys kind of how the build works. I'll show you how much toughness I'm getting while using all these skills and effects in use, and kind of show you how basically I don't really take much damage. I don't not struggle when rolling and speed running these rifts, and it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun running through and pretty much knowing, you know what, I can't die because I'm pretty much untouchable, and it's a lot of fun. So enough talking about the class. That's pretty much all you're going to really need to kind of get this class going. It is quite a bit, but once you get it all, it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun to do, and you'll pretty much never have an issue with dying if you're just kind of speed running or rolling with a group. So I'll go ahead and show you guys how the class works in a Greater Rift. Alright guys, so here we are in a Greater Rift 45. I went ahead and I kind of cut the video. I didn't want to show you guys running the whole 45 rift just because the video would be kind of long, and I mean, you can just assume what I'm doing. I'm just killing mobs, but I'm going to go ahead and show you how the build works over here. So I'm going to go ahead and open up my inventory over here, and you can gotta watch my toughness and see kind of how it jumps quite a bit. And as you can see, it's jumping over here once we have our stats from our 7-sided strike, as well as our crippling wave. When we apply our mantra, that's another damage boost. When we apply our infamy, that's an even greater damage reduction boost. And we pretty much getting a massive amount of toughness, something greater than we would ever really need. But it's just so much fun having that super high number and knowing that you're really going to be taking just about no damage regardless of what you do. Now, like I said, you're not going to be pushing those higher, greater rifts and putting the leaderboards with this, but it's a pretty fun speedrunning build. And as you can see, look at that, I'm at 160, or pretty close to 160 toughness. We're going to go ahead and apply our mantra about at 180 million, which, like I said, it's far greater than anything you'd really need, but it's just a ton of fun, and it's really, really nice to have this build. And like I said, it's great to kind of jump in and never ever really have to worry about dying. And you could sit along these ground effects. Nothing is going to affect you, but just the monsters themselves. Once you apply that damage reduction along with the 7-sided strike, you're really taking just about no damage at all. So we're going to go ahead and keep taking these guys out, applying the damage. And as you can see, we have that great toughness boost, and it kind of jumps up and down. So there are those windows where you will take a little bit of damage, but that legendary gem is really going to help you out when you are taking that damage. So let's go ahead and continue on, kind of kill the enemies. And you can kind of watch my health along the way, and really we're not really have any trouble taking these guys out. Along with our crippling wave with these large mobs, we're keeping them CC'd for quite a bit of time, so they're never really touching us, which is another great part of the build. So you're never really taking damage, you're hardly ever being touched, you don't have to worry about the ground effects, and overall it just works very, very beautifully. So let's go ahead and keep killing this elite pack, and as you can see here, we do have quite a bit of damage boost from our legendary gem in the Blackthorns build, giving us a really great time against these elite packs. They don't do much damage to me. I mean, they do some damage. I mean, you do have stuff to worry about them, but they don't do as much as they normally would. We have a 30% damage increase against them with our set and our legendary gem, so we don't really have much trouble taking them out. Now we're going to go ahead and collect those, continue moving on. Let's go ahead and see if we can find a big mob over here. There we go, we're keeping them CC with the exploding palm, taking them out, and like I said, keeping up the speed of your exploding palm with enemies below 75% health, you'll never really have to worry about it, because you're pretty much just one-shotting everything as a monk, which is absolutely beautiful and still a ton of fun. Now there is a little bit of damage loss with this build, but like I said, this build is more about being super duper tanking, being able to never die, and just kind of laughing at the enemies as they kind of try to take you out. So let's go ahead and keep taking these guys out, and like I said, once again, no trouble taking these guys out, never really ever taking damage. If we do, we kind of go back up very, very quickly. Our damage, or I said our health regeneration is still pretty high, along with the shield is very, very helpful. So let's go ahead and keep continuing on, keeping these guys CC so they don't touch me, doing the 7-sided strike, taking these guys out, and we're just going to keep going on, trying to find big mobs to take out as fast as we possibly can, so that way we can complete this rift with a good time. Let's go ahead and keep avoiding these guys, looking for large mobs to kind of apply that CC to, which is a lot of fun. There we go, they're all stunned. We're going to go ahead and do that, pretty much take them all out. Apply our exploding palm again, and you can see crippling wave is pretty fast with that little passive that we got going on there, and it applies the exploding palm fairly quickly, along with keeping them CC'd pretty much whenever you need them to. And there we go. Oh, we got a little bit of damage we're taking. Let's go ahead. We can go ahead and pop our infamy, keeping that toughness way up. Like I said, never taking that damage. And we're gonna go ahead and keep taking these guys out. And I believe once we kill the yellow mob over here, the Rift Guardians should spawn. Now, Rift Guardians, you still shouldn't have any trouble with. We can keep those stacks up as much as we possibly can, keeping our mantra up, and we still deal a good deal of damage. But like I said, there's a little bit of damage loss. But like I said, it's just about face tanking and never taking damage ever. Let's go ahead and keep taking this guy out. We're gonna go ahead and use our 7-sided strike and keeping those procs up as often as we can. Let's go ahead and dodge these lasers, because we are not immune to the lasers, sadly. They still do hurt quite a bit, so go ahead and dodge those when you can. Let's go ahead and keep taking this guy out. We have plenty of time to kill him. He's spawning some stuff, but we can keep him CC'd, which is great, so we don't have to worry about them, and we can still rack on the damage. So there we go, we're still dealing on the damage. And Crippling Wave is still extremely fast. Let's go ahead and keep doing that. And like I said, overall the build's pretty straightforward. It's basically turning you into a super duper face tank, never taking damage, and it's just it's a lot of fun. It's a nice little change of pace to the monks, making you super self-reliant and a pretty decent asset to parties because you got the CC constantly up. Let's go ahead and keep taking this guy out. These lasers are getting pretty annoying. If the lasers weren't there, we would have no trouble kind of taking this guy out, as well as keeping all our attacks onto the Rift Guardian. But he keeps spawning stuff, so kind of some of the 7-sided strike hits do go to the mobs, so we do miss a little bit of damage, but overall it's not too bad. Nothing we'll really have to worry about. But as you can see here, like I said, we're taking really no damage at all, and the some damage we do take, we just regenerate really quickly back. And nothing we'll ever really have to worry about. We're going to go ahead and kite that a little bit. Like I said, lasers, not immune to. Still pretty painful, so don't stand in those. But we'll go ahead and pop that Infamy, keep those stacks up. There we go. And now we'll really take no damage because we have Infamy up. But it's pretty good having these mobs over here because we have that constant attack speed boost for a Crippling Wave, which is pretty nice, keeping the boss CC'd fairly decently. Go ahead. We want to get out of these lasers. God, he keeps moving us along the way. But there we go. We're going to go ahead and take these guys out. Apply Exploding Palm once again. And like I said, super straightforward. Nothing really too in-depth about the build other than basically, like I said, being a super tank. Let's go ahead and go over here. Apply our Mantra. There we go. Dealing the damage we want to on him. Keep our Infamy up for that damage reduction. That great damage reduction. And we're just about have him. There he goes. Look at that. Even with that Infamy up, we can sit in these lasers, and they're not really dealing too much damage with us along with those stacks. So, oh, Infamy is over. We can go ahead and dodge those, apply the potion, wait for the cooldown on that, and take the Rift Guardian out. Now, like I said, we kind of ran through that Rift. Never died once. It was very, very easy. Never had to worry about dying, just kited a little bit when we needed to, but overall it's a super fun build. It's like I said, it's nothing that's gonna be putting you on the leaderboards, making you a new god tier innovative build. It's just kind of a nice change of pace and kind of a fun approach to the meta builds of the monks. But if you guys have enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe for more. But until next time, guys, I'll talk to you later.